CMUEagles.com with Central Methodist head women's basketball coach James Arnold as his team prepares to host 23rd-ranked Benedictine on Saturday inside Puckett Fieldhouse with a 2 p.m. Central Time tip-off. Coach, when you look back at the first game, two teams that have trended in opposite directions. Benedictine has gone 9-2 since the first game, a 5-point win for the Ravens in Atchison, Kansas. Your team has struggled somewhat, kind of, looking good one game, coming back and not playing so well. What do you think has been the reason for the trending in opposite directions?
Well, you're right. When we came together back in January, we both were in very similar situations, very similar records, both receiving votes in the top 25. Obviously, this was after the Kyra injury, so we were still searching for some identity. In that basketball game, especially going back, it seems like it's been a while, but watching that film, we had a ton of missed opportunities. We led that game for 37 minutes and then got massively outworked in the last 3 minutes. The interesting thing about Benedictine this year, they're very talented. Shayla Rutledge, I think, is the MVP of the league. And I don't think that's close right now, personally. But they're very talented, but this is not near the most talented Benedictine team we've seen in our 4 years in the league. But it is by far the hardest working Benedictine team. And they really, really work together. They really, really grind. They do their stuff. They chase down loose balls. Every 50-50 ball they win. And that's could be a big reason why they went on the stretch that they've had. In our situation, when we shoot the ball well and things go well, we do a lot of the little things well. When things don't go particularly well or as planned, then we struggle with that. And that's something that as a coaching staff and in these interviews we've talked about before is we've got to find a next level of toughness. We've got to find a next level of winning those 50-50 balls and sprinting over and in situations of loose rebounds and things like that. And in order for us to be successful against Benedictine on Saturday, we're going to have to find a way to do that. We're going to have to find a way to do it.
One of the keys to the first game was the discrepancy in free throws. Benedictine made 9 more free throws than your team attempted. They still missed, I believe it was 9, going 16 of 25. But how do you explain the difference in that margin of difference between free throws, and is that something you stress to your team that you need to get to the line on Saturday?
Yeah, over Christmas break we talked about one of our biggest weaknesses is we weren't getting enough easy baskets and getting to the free throw line. I think we've done a much better job since then. And since that game of doing that, the discrepancy in that game is honestly Benedictine would make the extra pass and attack a lane, and we didn't close out properly a lot. We tried to undercut people a lot, tried to take the easy route defensively and ended up fouling them, and they made enough of those. When I go back and look at that film, we threw the ball out of bounds a bunch of times. We missed wide open shots. We missed wide open layups. We made some silly mistakes defensively and still probably had a great chance to wrap that basketball game up by just chasing down a loose ball rebound. Benedictine missed 2 free throws late in the game with us having a 2-point lead, got the offensive rebound after 2 missed free throws and hit a 3, and we never recovered from that. We've had a lot of games that spend 2 or 3 minutes and 2 or 3 possessions that's cost us a victory. I'm hoping that we continue to touch that oven and learn from it, touch that opportunity and learn that it's hot, and figure out a way to get better from it.
In that 5-point loss, your team turned the ball over 27 times. Do you think that even cutting that number, let's say in half, could have a dramatic outcome in this second contest?
No question. I think that's an inordinate amount of turnovers. We're turning the ball over at a high rate this year. My teams and the way we play we've always turned the ball over. We're not going to be a team that comes out of a game with less than 10 turnovers because of the nature of how we play. Having said that, we're pushing some buttons and trying to move some people around in a way to make ourselves competitive as possible. And some people are in roles that they're not necessarily comfortable with. And in this game, especially early, we didn't make the easy pass. We didn't necessarily make the extra wide open pass, and we forced some things. And Benedictine forced us into some situations where we turned the ball over. Having said all that, even with 27 turnovers and some silly mistakes, we should have had a great chance to pick up a win against a really good team on the road. I feel confident that being at home, I like being at home, obviously, and I think we shoot the ball better at home, and I think we have a great chance to take better care of the basketball. Here, the big thing is, are we willing to outwork a really hard-working team?
Shayla Rutledge went for 18 in the first game in Atchison. What are some of the things that she does well, and just talk about her overall skill set as a player?
MVP of the league. Just an incredible matchup issue because if you put a 5 or 4 big strong kid on her, she's too quick and athletic for that kid. If you put a guard or a long 3 on her, she's a little too powerful and too strong for that kid. You asked the question about why the two teams met and went in different paths. Well, they have a superstar. Shayla Rutledge is averaging 20 points per game in league play. That's significantly higher than what she was averaging in non-conference play. Non-conference play, they kind of struggled, and in league play, they've taken off and they're 10-1, and a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that she's playing so well and has put their team on her shoulders and had a lot of help from her supporting cast. For us, we dominated early in non-conference play and had some really big wins. We had some injuries, and since then we've got a lot of really good pieces, but no one's necessarily stepped up and took charge and been the person that would take over to help us go on that run. We're looking for that now.
Finally, when you look at how your team has played against some of the better teams in the league, Mid-American Nazarene on the road, Benedictine, your team has had sizable first half leads of 8 or points or near double digits, but has kind of struggled as the game went on to hold that. What do you think has been the reason for that, and how do you change that fortune?
Well, I mean, obviously, we look at ourselves as coaches and find out what are we doing differently, how can we prepare them at the half to come out in a better situation. I think that's certainly worth us taking note of, and we have. The other thing that I attribute it to is depth. I mean, in the past, we've been maybe the most, with the exception of Mid-American Nazarene most year, we've probably been the deepest team in the league. We've had the most quality depth that could come off the bench. The best year we've ever had in conference play was my first year when we inherited some of the Brooks' staff kids that were juniors and seniors that were coming off the bench. We don't have as much depth as some of these other quality teams do. Even Culver Stockton exposed that for us. Baker, we only scored 18 points in the second half. And you're right, Benedictine and Mid-America, we've had opportunities in the first half but haven't been able to finish it up. We got to play 40 minutes of basketball. We've got to be ready to work, and those that don't get the breather that they might like, the Vetters and McDowells and Corneliusons, they're going to be ready to play extended minutes and bring energy for all of those minutes and bring effort for all of those minutes. But we're excited. I think we have a great chance. We've never beaten Benedictine at home. It's a great chance for us to get 2 wins in a row and find a way to get this thing rolling.